Alan, Wasalan, you with the nasty pastor, and I'm back with another chapter. Read from Ramses, the Son of Light, Volume 1, Series 1, and this will be the opening of Chapter 12. And I must say that, life has its struggles. Life has its quarrels. You fight with life. You know, we feel that the world is our oyster, is our pearl. But we still have to respect it. We still have to play our part. We still have to get up and forge a way. And a lot of us live a bitter life because our past is of bitterness. Our past is not of good understanding of what we done, how we done this, And I just want to tell you this right here, you know what I mean? Wake up, forge some things in your life, you know what I mean? We tend to want what the next person have, but don't know how to maintain it. We tend to want to destroy things the next person have because we can't have it. There's something, a little off about you. There's something not really computing. You got what I'm saying? People that are not humble, they have been blessed financially. They have been blessed materially. They have been blessed, let's just say with a wholesome family. You got what I'm saying? And you seem to think or you seem to feel you're owed something from them. You're not. You're not. You're not. You know what I mean? When you can understand at a certain age your parents don't owe you anything, then you can understand other people don't owe you anything. I used to live in a world, live in my thoughts, live in my actions where I felt the world owed me. You get what I'm saying? I felt if you wasn't treating me as my mom treated me, you know what I mean, then you done. You get what I'm saying? Some type of way you're gonna give me what I'm coming to you to get, and you have to wake up and realize life don't owe you nothing. Nothing at all. Nothing. We forge good deeds and we look for blessings from whom we pray to, but whom we pray to don't owe us nothing. Honestly, we owe whom we pray to. We're protected. We're nourished. We're given. You get me? We're given necessities to survive only if we could stop dividing ourselves. You get it? Dividing ourselves. You know what I mean? It's a good lesson being taught in America. A very good lesson being taught in America. And it's going to show who's equipped to speak, who's equipped to understand, who's equipped to fight the good fight, who is equipped to understand business, to understand laws, to understand anything our oppressors have in place alive and moving. We're in the ages of fighting. Now I say this to you, if we are of Satan's bloodline, You get me? Of Satan's bloodline. But this soul, you get me? I don't believe a soul has blood running through it. You get me? I don't believe a soul has any type of blood or need air, oxygen to survive. I truly believe, this shell we live in. This is a astronaut suit. Better to explain. This is an astronaut suit. You get what I'm saying? And these are the things we need to survive on this rock we live on. But my point, if we are of Satan's, of Lucifer's, of Amun Ra bloodline, you understand what I'm saying? Bloodline. We're still a child of whom we pray to, and our soul should reflect that. This shell should not be able to dominate your soul. Your soul should be equipped to dominate any bad deeds this shell is influencing your soul to move in. We're going to wrap that intro right there. It will be a short read, you know what I mean? Time is of the essence. I believe we have another 10 minutes left, maybe under 10 minutes left. So we're going to get into this chapter 12 read, learn a little bit more about our ancestors. Let's proceed. We're leaving Ramses. The prince could hardly believe his ears, nor could he ask his father to repeat those three magic words. His happiness was so intense his head swam. Seti went to his horse, who was perfectly calm now. He united the teether, led the stallion to a light chariot, and saw a hitch. At the main barracks door, the monarch's personal sentries stood alert. Now, sentries are, your foot soldiers. You got what I'm saying? The prince hopped in the chariot and stood to his father's left. Take the reins. The reins is the steering wheel. The little straps. Proud as a conqueror, Ramses drove to the launch where Pharaoh's fleet was making ready to sail southward. Ramses had no chance to tell Amunai he was leaving, and what would Aset the Pharaoh think when he didn't appear for their secret meetings? But his qualms paled against the thrill of sailing on a royal ship, moving briskly with a strong tailwind. As the expedition's official scribe, Ramses was to write, to report and keep the ship's log down to the last detail. Captivated by the changing courtside, he found a great deal to record. It was nearly 500 miles from Memphis to Jebel el Silisila, their destination. The 17-day voyage was full of wonders for Ramses. The glistening river, the lush floodplain, the peaceful hilltop villages. Egypt was his for the taking, immutable, brimming with life, able to transcend its most humble forms once aboard. Ramses did not see his father again. The day flowed as quickly as a single hour, the ship's log growing thicker. In this 6th year of Seti's reign, 1,000 soldiers, stonecutters, and sailors were to land at Jebel el Silisila, the country's main site of sandstone quarry. Here's the Nile, forced between steep, narrow banks, was boiling with rapids, the cause of frequent wrecks and drownings. From the prow of his ship, Seti oversaw the expedition. Unit leaders supervised an unloading of crates full of tools and food supplies. The workers sang and bantered, but the pace was unrelenting. Let's go on. Pause that right there. And, It's a beautiful thing to see a man with his child. It's a beautiful thing for a child that wants to always be with their father. You know, we don't, in this day and time, we don't get to see a lot of that. And it's jealousy in the world about that. There are men out here that don't understand the part they played in their not being there for their kids at a young age. You get what I'm saying? And you have to understand, you know what I mean? You may have took a penitentiary chance for their mother. You get me? For their mother. You know, you didn't take that penitentiary chance directly solely for that child. I believe that child would have said, no, I would rather have you here than to have that toy, than to have a piece of bubble gum. You understand me? And it's time to buckle down. It really is. It's time to buckle down to not have kids if you're not prepared to sacrifice for your kids. You know, not have them. You know, we don't think about what it costs when we're laying with a woman. We know what it costs to lay with that woman. You know, if you're there just for a night, it costs you. If you're there if you want to be there for a lifetime, it costs you. So we don't really, you know, look beyond that. And statistics show that. You know, it really shows that. You know, statistics shows you that most of these women, a good 90% of these women in America raised their kids. Men, their dads wasn't there to raise them. Or another man helped your child's mother raise your child. You get me? You know, you can be an outside parent or you could be an inside parent. Either way, you gotta be a parent. You get what I'm saying? Either way, you gotta be a parent. Either way, you have to put that time in. And that time don't always consist of Chuck E. Cheese. That time don't always consist of a theme park. That time don't always consist of going to the mall to buy some shoes, to buy a game, buy some clothes. You know, there's answers, there's discussions, there's boo-boos, you know, trips, falls, emotional scars you need to be there for. You need the answer to. You need to have the answers for them. That's being a parent. That's nurturing. That's something they could never forget. Will never, you know, forget that. Look, you've been with the nasty pastor. It's been another chapter to read from out of Ramses, Volume 1, Series 1, The Son of Light. And as I said, we was on what? We just started. Excuse me. We just started chapter 12. So, if I'm correct, we'll be into 3 more reads, or we'll be into 4 more reads of chapter 12. And Seti, I tip my hat off to Seti. You know, I cannot say that he raised them wrong. I believe some more time should have been put in. You know, some more time should have been put there so that he could make wiser decisions. Look, I'm out, and I love you.